Su Yao traveled to a parallel world and suffered from a terminal illness. Her life is not long to come. Get the popularity system, and once you gain popularity, you can switch lives. Why are the male nurses around so familiar? Isn't this Mao Bai? Write a song for Mao Bai titled A Person Like Me and become the melancholy prince. Write a song for Zhang Jie titled This Is Love, making him a sensation on the internet. Fans slowly realize that Su Yao had little time left. She's almost dead, yet she's still working hard to write a song. Fans are in a hurry. Go rest immediately, don't die. Who are we listening to when you're dead? You're almost dead and still want to sing. Please, no matter how well you sing, don't sing. The Chinese music industry needs you. P.S. This article has no CP and only focuses on the business line. Keywords of the novel. Writing songs with one's life. The whole network cried and begged me not to die. No pop-ups, risking your life to write songs. The whole network cried and begged me not to die. Download the complete TXT collection and write a song with your life. The whole network cried and begged me not to die. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. End of the game at the beginning. You can survive with popularity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. End of the game at the beginning. You can survive with popularity. Su Yao slowly opened her eyes and saw the white ceiling with a noticeable smell of disinfectant. Did she not die in a plane crash while on a business trip with her leader? Suddenly, a memory that did not belong to her entered her mind. She's dead. Live again. Wearing into a parallel world similar to Earth, Su Yao's body had a different fate from hers. At the age of only 20, fate is no match for acute leukemia. Because there was no successful typing, the remaining time was running out. The doctor informed her parents that they could take her home for the final period of time. Her family did not give up on her and allowed her to continue receiving treatment in the hospital. I hope a miracle can happen and the matching will be successful. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling and couldn't help but roll her eyes. In my previous life, I was unlucky enough to encounter a plane crash. It's not easy to cross now, as one thing is the beginning of death. Do you think she died too quickly in her previous life and deliberately made her suffer from a painful illness? She tried to sit up, but found that her body lacked any strength. The brain is also drowsy and unable to lift its energy. At that moment, the door of the ward was opened and a young man wearing glasses walked in. He was wearing blue hospital clothes, which set him off very thin and weak. "Miss Su, you're awake." His voice was soft. "Is there anything uncomfortable?" Su Yao stared blankly at him, blinking hard and saying, Are you Mao Bai?" "Yes, Miss Su doesn't remember me." Mao asked in confusion. "Why are you here?" "Aren't you singing?" she said subconsciously. Mao Bai paused slightly with his liquid hand and said to himself, "Miss Su is joking, I can't sing." He came to her with a medicine bottle to give her an infusion, and his movements were extremely skilled. Su Yao suddenly realized that she was not in the previous world, but in a parallel world. In this world, her parents are as wealthy as before. She lives in the hospital and has hired 8 nurses to take care of her. Mao Bai is one of them. Her parents were worried that the female nurse wouldn't be able to hold her when she was in danger, so they specifically hired a male nurse to take care of her. Mao accidentally hung the liquid on her and checked her physical characteristics. At the age of just 20, the most energetic age, but suffering from terminal illness. According to the doctor's judgment, she has less than half a month left. Most of the time I was in a coma recently. Today can be said to be the most spirited day recently. It's really pitiful and regrettable. Miss Su, if you feel uncomfortable, remember to call me, I'll be right next to you, Mao said gently. Su Yao nodded lightly and asked again, don't you want to sing? Mao Bai didn't expect her to ask the same question again and chuckled, I don't have that ability. No, you're very strong. Su Yao remembered the TV dramas she used to watch, where didn't he exist? Every time he appears, it's a time of heart and lung abuse. Mao Bai clearly didn't want to talk about singing, I'll go call a doctor to check your body again. Su Yao shook her head helplessly as she saw him seeming to be evading. She pondered carefully before discovering the problem. The entertainment industry in this parallel world is very underdeveloped and can be described as barren. Those well-known singers from their past lives did indeed blend into the circle, but their songs were extremely mediocre. There are also movies, TV dramas, and variety shows, all without any highlights, which is extremely embarrassing. If the audience doesn't see interesting content, they naturally won't pay much attention. So, the entertainment industry has completely become an extremely niche circle. No wonder Mao Bai didn't enter the music industry early, because there is really no future. It's better for him to earn more by working at this private hospital. Ding! The popularity continuation system has been successfully activated. As long as the host can gain popularity, they can gain life. The beginner's gift package has been distributed. May I ask if you want to open it? Su Yao was initially shocked and didn't understand where the sudden voice came from. I quickly realized that it was coming from my own mind. System. A must-have for travelers. Open. She may have experienced life and death and time travel, and even the most bizarre things are not surprising to her. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 1,000 golden song lists. Su Yao only felt that there were suddenly many scores and lyrics in her mind. All the most famous songs from the previous life. Isn't it a popular life-sustaining system? What is the use of giving oneself a playlist? How can I sing even though I'm almost dead? The system seemed to hear her voice and explained. The host is unable to sing, but can have others sing, and the popularity gained also belongs to the host. Is there such a good thing? She immediately became excited. Yes. After receiving a positive response from the system, the corner of her mouth slightly raised. Let others sing. Isn't this simple yet? Isn't Mao Bai just a skilled singer? The ward door opened again, and the doctor in charge of her, Du Mingfeng, walked in, with Mao following behind. She stared at Mao Bai with a burning gaze, which made him feel a bit embarrassed. Du Mingfeng smiled and joked, Miss Su seems to be in good spirits today. As Su Yao was about to say yes, his eyes rolled and he showed a tragic smile that was even uglier than crying. I know my days are running out, maybe it's a comeback, he said. Du Mingfeng said with relief, with the advancement of medicine, there may be a suitable match at some point. Su Yao smiled weakly and said, I no longer hold on to hope. The little nurses in the room all pitied her plight. Having a good family background, beautiful appearance, and young age. Taking care of her during this period, she has a good personality and has never lost her temper. When tormented by illness, I also grit my teeth and hold on. She is really strong. Du Mingfeng sighed lightly, do you have any unfinished wishes? She waited for this sentence and said with a smile, I really have a wish. Mao asked indifferently, why don't you tell us? Maybe we can help you achieve it. Yes, with so many of us, what if we can help you? The other nurses agreed one after another. My wish is difficult for others, and I'm worried they won't agree, she said softly. Du Mingfeng said, can you talk about it? Let's help you fight for it. She looked at the crowd and her final gaze fell on Mao Bai. I want you to sing to me. Mao Bai was completely stunned, never realizing that her wishes were related to herself. The little nurses also looked at Mao Bai in astonishment. Can he sing? Du Mingfeng chuckled and said, is it that simple? Su Yao pointed to the TV hanging on the wall, and the voice became increasingly weak. I want you to sing to me on the TV program. This body is a bit lacking. After only waking up for 10 minutes, she felt her eyelids getting heavier and heavier. Miss Su. Mao looked at her indifferently, not understanding how she knew she liked singing. This is a secret he has been hiding, not even telling his closest parents. It's because I'm afraid of being seen by my family as neglecting my job if I say it out loud. Su Yao realized that her consciousness was becoming increasingly blurred, and she murmured, I really want to hear you sing. This is my last wish in my life. Can you agree to it? In the end, her consciousness was completely plunged into darkness. Miss Su. Su Yao. Du Mingfeng saw that she had not responded and immediately conducted an examination for her. Mao was worried and helped with other nurses. She's just unconscious, there's nothing serious at the moment, Du Mingfeng said after a thorough examination. The little nurses looked at each other and breathed a long sigh of relief. Miss Su hasn't had much time, has she? She's only 20 years old, she's 1 year older than me. She's so kind, I really don't want to see her die. Isn't she still having a wish? Yaij, will you agree to her? End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Write a poem about a person like me, and the little nurse burst into tears. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Write a poem about a person like me, and the little nurse burst into tears. Everyone's gaze fell on Mao Bai one after another. He was very uncomfortable under their gaze. Mao Bai explained, I can't sing very well. Du Mingfeng advised, just singing a song on stage doesn't make you a big star. It doesn't matter whether you sing well or not, does it? Yeah, Brother E, I don't think it's important either. Just fulfill Su Yao's wish, we won't laugh at you. The other nurses nodded one after another. Mao Bai turned his head to look at Su Yao, who was pale, thin, and haggard. He spent some time with Su Yao and sympathized with her from the bottom of his heart. Her dying wish is actually very small, as long as he takes action, he can help her fulfill it. I work here, and if I attend a program, it will delay my work, Mao said without hesitation. The little nurse continued, you're just delaying for a day. With so many of us at work, just help you with it. That's right, that's right. We'll do it for you, don't have any psychological burden. Mao didn't want to face their scorching gaze and said, I'll think about it again. The little nurse said discontentedly, what else are you considering at this point? Miss Yao Yao doesn't have much time left. Yeah, it's already this time. What are you thinking about? She's going to die soon, this is her last wish. The others didn't expect him to be so engrossed. Du Mingfeng was afraid that they would argue, so he stepped forward to mediate, let him consider this matter for himself. We cannot morally kidnap. Besides, this is a ward, let's all go out and not disturb Su Yao's rest. They think Du Mingfeng is right and cannot disturb Su Yao's rest. When Su Yao woke up again, it was already dark. She is taken care of by the little nurse named Duaning. Duaning smiled sweetly and said, Yao Yao, you're awake. She nodded lightly, I want to drink water. Can you give me a glass of water? Okay, right away. Duaning immediately brought her a glass of water with a suitable temperature. She took a sip and felt much more comfortable in her throat. She remembered the system in her body and asked, is Mao not interested? Don't mention him, I don't know where to go after work, Duaning pursed her lips. Su Yao felt that they all cared about themselves and wanted to fulfill their wishes. Su Yao said, don't blame him. I said from the beginning that this wish would be difficult, but if he doesn't agree, I can understand. Duaning also understood this truth and said happily, you haven't eaten yet. I'll go get you some food to have strength. Thank you. After Duaning left the ward, she thought of the system and closed her eyes to open it. A set of detailed data that others cannot see appears before us. Name. Su Yao age. 20 years old height. 163 centimeters physical fitness. 7 out of 100 life. 4 days popularity. 0/10,000. There are only 4 days left. To survive, one must explain Mao Bai within these 4 days. At this moment, the ward door was opened by someone. She thought it was Duaning who came in, but when she opened her eyes, she saw a different kind of Mao Bai. Mao Bai was wearing a white printed T-shirt, a pair of jeans and casual shoes, and a pair of black framed glasses, exuding a calm and melancholic temperament. He held a document in his hand and saw her wake up with a smile. "Miss Su, I participated in the Starlight show on Beijing TV. Here is my registration receipt." Su Yao was surprised and said, "Did you register? Isn't this your wish?" Mao Bai said awkwardly, "Actually, it's also my wish." She was just thinking about how to persuade him, whether to sell or use monetary incentives. Who would have known that he agreed so readily and even personally signed up? "Your wish." She reached out and took the receipt. Starlight Show is a well-known singing program in Beijing. Anyone with ideas can participate. Because the entertainment industry is niche, there are very few people signing up. As long as you register, you can usually perform directly on stage the next day. Mao Bai explained, "When I was reading, I always had an impulse to show off my singing voice, but I didn't dare to be too conspicuous, afraid of being laughed at by others. I could only occasionally hide in a deserted place and sing a few songs. It seems that only by doing so can I feel a little more at ease." "I mean, you should be the one who was born to stand on stage," Su Yao said with a relieved smile, returning the receipt to him. "Get me a paper and pen, and I'll write a song for you." "Writing songs? Do you know how to write songs?" Mao asked in surprise. "Of course. I received elite education from a young age and can be said to be proficient in everything," she said without exaggeration. Her parents are one of the top billionaires in the country, and she has hired national-level teachers for everything she wants to learn since childhood. Music is one of them. Of course, the most important thing is still the 1,000 playlists. Mao didn't want to be suspicious, so he still brought her paper and pen. He didn't have much hope in his heart. After all, Su Yao is not a professional creator. However, since she has written it, even if it sounds unpleasant, he will give it a try. Mao accidentally shook up the hospital bed and supported the small table on the table. Su Yao held the pen and found that her arm strength was weak, causing her hand to tremble continuously. Mao Bai looked at him with heartache and advised, "Your body is too weak. It's better to forget it. I sing a song from another singer, and it's the same. It's different." Su Yao said decisively, "You are you. I want to write a song that only you can sing with flavor. A song with its own flavor." Mao Bai never thought about this. The door opened again and Duaning walked back from outside with dinner in hand. Seeing Mao not wanting to be in the hospital room, he pursed his lips. Seeing that the small table has already been placed, it's quite sensible. Duaning smiled and said, "Yao Yao, come and have dinner." "Wait a moment," Su Yao held her pen and struggled to write lyrics and music. "What is this doing?" Duaning looked at Su Yao holding a pen in her hand, her face slightly changing. "Su Yao is not writing his last words, is she?" "Wu Yao Yao, I don't want you to die." Mao Bai explained, "Miss Su is writing a song for me." "What? Writing a song?" Duaning also showed a surprised expression. "Yao Yao, can you write a song?" Mao Bai pulled Duaning and said, "Please be quiet and don't disturb her thoughts." Duaning wisely closed her mouth. When other nurses came in, they saw such a quiet scene. At first, they didn't know what Su Yao was doing, but only after hearing Duaning's explanation did they understand that Su Yao was actually writing a song. They looked at Su Yao's trembling right hand and also noticed Su Yao's resilient gaze. She was already tormented by illness, but still wanted to leave something for the world when she left. She is simply writing songs with her own life. Just watching her focused and unyielding expression at this moment. They just feel their noses sour. Su Yao wrote the most famous song by Mao Bai. Although it only took 5 minutes to write, it took more than 10 minutes due to physical discomfort. The characters on the paper are even more crooked and unsightly. She handed the song to Mao Bai and said, "I've written it. You can sing it tomorrow when you participate in the program." People around gathered around and saw a song called "People Like Me." Many people can't understand the score and how this song really works. Duaning asked in confusion, "Does this song sound good?" Mao Bai naturally understood that he didn't have much hope in the beginning. He has already made plans, even if Su Yao writes a messy song. He will sacrifice his life to accompany the gentleman and perform on stage for her tomorrow. However, when he received the song, his hands trembled with excitement. Mao Bai looked up at her, never realizing that she was so talented. Su Yao gently waved at Duaning and said, "I'm hungry." Duaning immediately placed dinner on the small table. Su Yao saw him so excited that he couldn't speak, so she smiled and said, "Why don't you practice first to avoid being nervous when you come on stage tomorrow?" Duaning nodded in agreement and said, "Yes, brother E, why don't you sing for us?" Mao Bai felt that what Su Yao said was right, so such a good song naturally requires more practice. Otherwise, if I come on stage tomorrow and don't sing its flavor, wouldn't it be disappointing Su Yao's excellent talent? I sing. Mao unintentionally coughed lightly and cleared his throat. An excellent person like me, should have lived a brilliant life. How did more than 20 years come to an end, still floating and sinking in the sea of people? A smart person like me, saying goodbye to simplicity long ago. Why did you still use a relationship? Go get a new set of scars. Mao Bai's slightly melancholic voice rang out, and the movements in the hands of the little nurses immediately froze. The melody of this vicissitudes, with simple yet soul-piercing lyrics, seems to have sung every sentence deep into their hearts. A lonely person like me, a foolish person like me, people like me who are unwilling to be ordinary, how many people are there in the world, a person like me who is inexplicable, will anyone feel heartbroken? The song is over. Mao Bai's eyes turned even redder. He took off his glasses and wiped the corners of his eyes with trembling fingers. The little nurses were even more sentimental, tears streaming down their faces. They never imagined that one day listening to music would make them cry. Most importantly, this song was written by Su Yao. Her unwillingness, her sorrow, are all in this song. They heard a different flavor from this song. She's only 20 years old. She doesn't want to die. She wants to live. Pop pop. Su Yao gently patted her palm and said, "You sang very well, show off well. I used too much energy to write the song just now." She hasn't finished her meal yet and has fallen into a coma. Miss Su. Yao Yao's sister. Everyone exclaimed in surprise. The responsible Dr. Du Mingfeng ran over and carefully examined Su Yao. Mao asked indifferently, "How is her situation?" Duaning said with heartache, "She hasn't finished her meal yet and is unconscious again." Du Mingfeng sighed helplessly, "You all know her body very well, I'm afraid she doesn't have a few days left." Their already sad emotions made them burst into tears upon hearing the news. Du Mingfeng was surprised and said, "You are all accustomed to seeing life and death. What's going on today?" Mao Bai's heart felt as if it was being pinched hard, and he couldn't stop feeling heartbroken. He used to think that Su Yao was just a wealthy young lady, just like everyone else except for her wealth and appearance. It's just a pity to get sick at such a young age. However, at this moment he realized that Su Yao was such a talented person. If he sings this song, it will definitely set off a significant wave. Innocence is unfair. She is still so young, and before she can showcase her talents, she is about to die. Duaning sniffed and said, "Yao Yao just wrote a song, it's so beautiful." Writing songs. Does she know how to write songs? Du Mingfeng also heard of it for the first time. Duaning pointed to Mao Bai and said, a song specifically written for Brother E. Du Mingfeng remembered Su Yao's thoughts this morning and asked, by the way, how have you considered her wishes? Mao Bai tightly grasped the lyrics and music in his hand and said, I'll take a day off tomorrow. Oh. I signed up for the Starlight Show on Beijing television. Du Mingfeng smiled and patted his shoulder, it seems you don't have such a heart of stone. Mao Bai looked at her tightly closed eyes and murmured, I will spread her songs and let everyone know how talented she is. Du Mingfeng didn't hear him clearly. What are you saying? It's nothing, Mao Bai shook his head and said solemnly, take care of her, I'll come see her after the show. After saying these words, he turned around and left. With only over 10 hours left, he needs to find a place to practice this song to the extreme. One's own lack of proficiency should not affect its quality. Since she wants to sing, she must do her best and not let down her heart. Miss Su, I will definitely make everyone who has heard this song remember you. End of this chapter. Chapter 3 is a nationwide sensation, with skyrocketing ratings. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 is a nationwide sensation, with skyrocketing ratings. Starlight Show is a talent show broadcasted on Beijing television in the afternoon. During this time period, either working or taking a nap. The ratings can be imagined, but naturally they are unbearable. In such a long time, the ratings have never exceeded 0.1. The director of Starlight Show, Wei Jinke, has always wanted to create a nationally renowned reality show. However, the current entertainment industry is too barren to create any hot topics. He repeatedly planned the program and failed time and time again. Now, it has been ranked as the most unpopular time slot. If it weren't for his fame in the entertainment industry, he could have invited judges from the entertainment industry. There is no need to continue this program. Recently, the director has also approached him several times, both inside and outside, asking him to turn off the stage of the Starlight Show and not waste each other's time. It's better to change this time slot to a program that is easy to attract people, such as cooking, decorating, and getting rich. Wei Jinke is under a lot of pressure, unable to eat well or sleep well, and her obese body has also lost weight. 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Mao Bai came behind the scenes. The staff arranged a makeup artist for him in the order of his competition. This is his first time putting on makeup and also his first time on stage, sitting in a chair constantly cheering himself on. After putting on his makeup, the staff told him that it would be his turn immediately. He nervously took out his phone and dialed Duan Ying's phone. Duan Ying, has Miss Su woken up? She's awake, Duan Ying said excitedly. We were watching you participate in the program with her. You must behave well, okay? Is that right? Mao Bai raised the corner of his mouth slightly. Su Yao's voice rang out, don't be nervous, just pretend that there are only us below, and we support you. Okay, Mao Bai smiled. The staff approached him and reminded, it's your turn. Mao Bai said to Su Yao, I'm on stage. Come on, I believe you. Su Yao encouraged. Mao accidentally hung up the phone, took a deep breath, and then walked onto the stage under the guidance of the staff. The 3 judges tonight are Wang Feng, Lu Huan, and Yu Qingqing, all celebrities in the circle. Below the stage are students and idle ants invited by Wei Jinke from the school, priced at 30 yuan per head. Otherwise, there wouldn't be a single audience in the studio, it would be too quiet. There are about 40 people sitting in the audience today, each drowsy and yawning. Some people leaned back in their chairs and fell asleep. Mao Bai took the microphone and bowed on stage, taking the initiative to introduce himself. Hello judges, my name is Mao Bai. Wang Feng took the initiative to liven up the atmosphere and said, you look very young, just graduated from college. Mao Bai said, I have already started working and am a male nurse. Yu Qingqing smiled and said, so it's our respected medical staff. May I ask whose song you want to sing? I'll sing an original song. Mao held the microphone nervously. Original song. Lu Huan shook his head with a smirk. Yes, it's called, People Like Me. The three judges exchanged a glance and couldn't help but laugh. Nowadays, even their predecessors have encountered creative bottlenecks, and how good can original songs by amateur singers be? We need to waste a few more minutes. To be honest, they all want to go home and sleep. Wang Feng raised his hand and gestured, please perform your singing. The light changed, and a white light hit him alone, causing darkness to surround him. Mao Bai can't see the people below the stage anymore. He suddenly felt as if he was in the small room he had rented. There is no one else, only him. His nervous heart slowly relaxed and he began to sing. An excellent person like me should have lived a brilliant life in just one sentence. The three judges immediately changed their faces and sat upright. Outsiders watched the excitement, while insiders watched the tricks. Just this simple word, coupled with his unique voice of vicissitudes, can drive people's emotions. How did more than 20 years come to an end, still floating and sinking in the sea of people? Wang Feng widened his eyes in shock. Is this really a layman? Surprisingly able to sing so emotionally and deeply into people's hearts. The other two judges were also captivated by his singing voice. As a person's vicissitudes and hardships are all contained in such simple lyrics. Mao Bai had long forgotten that he was on stage, singing and performing to his heart's content. Give full play to the essence of this song, so that Su Yao, who was tortured by illness in the hospital, will no longer have regrets. Most of the audience below are going to sleep. However, upon hearing this song, they opened their eyes with excitement. What did they hear? Such a sad melody, coupled with his voice of vicissitudes. They could hear a sense of unwillingness, and oppression. The disappointed person was touched by the lyrics and their eyes couldn't help but turn red. There are still people who cry bitterly in sadness. The originally quiet studio suddenly heard the sound of crying. Who is he? How could he sing so beautifully? It's like singing out their hearts. They're so big, they've never heard such a wonderful melody before. In the broadcasting room, Wei Jinka sat in the office smoking with her head down. Just now, the director came to him again and indirectly told him not to do it again after finishing this episode, wasting the manpower, material resources, and resources of the TV station. He really wants to say wait a little longer, maybe one day there will be someone who will change the entertainment industry. However, before such words could be spoken, the station director blocked his mouth. A niche is a niche, don't expect to become the general public. It's just a futile struggle. He is unwilling in his heart. How can a country with such a large population not have a genius? However, after waiting for so many years, all his connections have been depleted. Even if the director doesn't say it, we won't invite any judges in the future. This kind of lackluster program also requires the judges to have face. Since it's going to end, let's end it. Bang! At this moment, the young assistant Li Ming ran in panting heavily. You came just in time. I just discussed with the station director, and this program will be suspended from tomorrow. Stop broadcasting. Li Ming looked at him blankly. Why stop broadcasting so well? Where's the deal with this dismal ratings? Forget it, I'm tired, that's it. Wei Jinka waved his hand and pressed his cigarette butt hard into the ashtray, as if extinguishing his dream. Director, I just wanted to tell you that our program is on fire. Li Ming excitedly said as he approached Wei Jinka with his tablet. Look, the ratings have climbed to 0.5 now and are constantly rising. Wei Jinka couldn't believe it as she watched the real-time monitoring data of ratings and the constantly rising curve. He blinked hard and realized that it was all true. His voice couldn't help but tremble. What's going on here? What's going on? How could it be like this? Li Ming said happily, there is a singer named Mao Bai whose songs are so beautiful. I have never heard such a beautiful song before. Hurry up. Take me to take a look. Wei Jinka suddenly thought of something. No, if you go at this time, you must have finished singing. Please open it directly for me. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. As long as she wakes up, I'll wait. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. As long as she wakes up, I'll wait. On stage, Mao Bai was still performing in an immersive manner. He forgot everything, only remembered the melody of this song. How many people are there in the world, a person like me who is inexplicable, will anyone feel heartbroken the song is over? Mao Bai only felt exhilarating. It wasn't until the lighting in front of me changed that I realized I was actually on stage, and there were many seniors downstairs. At this moment, Wang Feng and others took the initiative to come to the stage and asked excitedly, tell me quickly, in what state did you write this song? Wang Feng has always wanted to write a song that can touch people's hearts, and has written many scores. However, every song feels a bit lacking. That's just one thing, it makes him feel like a gap that he can never cross in his lifetime. Yeah, hurry up and tell us, how did you come up with it? Yu Qingqing also walked onto the stage, his eyes shining as he asked. Mao didn't want to look at their expressions. They were just the same as yesterday when he got the song. He shook his head and said, I didn't write this song. Didn't you write it? Wang Feng asked in shock, who wrote it? Su Yao. Mao Bai raised the microphone and spread her name out. Wang Feng frowned and tried to recall, but couldn't recall the presence of such a person in the circle. He looked at Yu Qingqing and said, do you know him? Yu Qingqing shrugged and said, this is also the first time I've heard this name. Wang Feng looked at Lu Huan and said, Brother Huan, have you ever heard of him? I don't have either, Lu Huan shook his head. Could it be the creator of another small company? Everyone's gaze once again fell on Mao Bai. Mao Bai shook his head and said, Su Yao is not an insider, she is just one of my patients. Patient? Wang Feng was surprised. Yes, Mao Bai whispered, Su Yao has just turned 20 and has acute leukemia. Until now, the matching has not been successful. This. Wang Feng and his team never imagined that the person who wrote the song was a terminally ill patient. The people below also fried the pot. No wonder she could smell the sadness. It turned out she was fighting against the disease. At the age of only 20, so young. I didn't expect her to be so talented, it's really pitiful. Mao looked at them and asked, can I say a few words to the audience? Of course, Wang Feng said. Mao Bai picked up the microphone and spoke, Su Yao is the kindest and most talented girl I have ever met. I have always loved singing, but I have never had the courage to stand on this stage. It was she who guessed my dream, encouraged me, and used her life to write songs for me, helping me fulfill my dream. Today, I am a singer on stage. At the same time, I am also a medical staff member. I earnestly request the audience watching the program to lend a helping hand and donate bone marrow. Your kindness may save a person's life. I'm here to thank everyone. He bent down 90 degrees and paused for 10 seconds before lifting himself up. And at this moment, tears were streaming down his face. In the studio, Wei Jinka's gaze was fixed on Mao Bai. He looked at Li Ming excitedly and said, go and ask him about Su Yao. Which hospital exactly is Su Yao staying at? Li Ming replied, I'll go now. Wei Jinka felt that if her program could be successful, she might have to rely on this girl named Su Yao. Her songs can surprisingly exert such great power. If I were to write songs for other singers, how popular would this program be? Li Ming quickly returned and said, Director, this Su Yao is not easy. She is the third miss of the Su group and currently lives at the Enrue private hospital under their group. Wei Jinke was surprised and said, so rich. Yeah, Li Ming sighed, Mao Bai is one of the nurses who takes care of her. Wei Jinke stood up and said, let's go and visit her. Director. Li Ming hesitated and said, she's almost dead. What are we going to do to find her? It's not appropriate to find her to write songs at this time, is it? Wei Jinke said unhappily, where are you going? I appreciate her talent and think it's a pity. I just want to get to know her. Li Ming looked incredulous. Wei Jinke felt embarrassed and ordered, by the way, please call Zhang Jie up. What's the use of being confined in a room every day? Go out more and see the world for inspiration. Li Ming had a, I knew you weren't that kind expression and said, okay, I'll go call him along. Wei Jinke looked at the stage, but Mao didn't want to advance smoothly and left. He turned off the TV and walked out of the station. On the sedan, there is a young and handsome boy sitting in the back seat. His name is Zhang Jie. He is a former artist signed by Wei Jinke and has a great singing voice. However, there has never been a suitable song for him. Zhang Jie has always wanted to debut and spends his days at home writing songs. I hope to write a beautiful song. However, like other creators, they have encountered bottlenecks. No matter how it is combined, there is no way to form a beautiful melody. He looked at the towering buildings outside, feeling that the sky had lost its color. Zhang Jie was not clear about Wei Jinke's plan and listened to the song alone with headphones on. The car quickly arrived at Henry Hospital. They filled out their personal information and successfully arrived at Su Yao's ward. The ward is particularly quiet, and the little nurses are doing things with gentle movements. From time to time, he looked at Su Yao lying in bed with concern in his eyes. They all heard about Su Yao's talent and felt it in their hearts. Everyone hopes to take care of her and let her live an extra day. Duaning saw a stranger standing at the door and walked out of the ward, saying, may I ask if you have anything to do? Wei Jinke took out a business card and handed it to her. I am the director of the Starlight Show program on Beijing TV, and my name is Wei Jinke. I came to visit Miss Su Yao with great admiration. May I ask about her current physical condition? Duaning heard that the other party was Mao Bai, who was the director of the program. She shook her head gently and said, she has been unconscious for a longer time and wakes up less and less. Wei Jinke said regretfully, I want to wait here for her to wake up, can I? Duaning asked in confusion, do you have anything to do? No, I just heard the song she wrote and wanted to get to know her. Wei Jinke sneered, after all, there are very few talented people like her. Li Ming secretly rolled his eyes beside him. The director's ability to deceive people is no less impressive than before. Upon hearing the director's admiration for her, Duaning felt that Yao Yao could meet her and make her happy. I'll take you to the lounge to wait, but it may take a long time, she said. Wei Jinke said, no matter how long it takes, I will wait. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Taking my life and writing another song for you. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5. Taking my life and writing another song for you. Rest room. A dedicated service staff poured tea for them. Wei Jinke, Li Ming, and Zhang Jie are sitting in 3 different positions. Especially Zhang Jie, wearing headphones and immersed in the world of music, had no idea why he came to the hospital today. Li Ming can be certain that they will sell Zhang Jie, and Zhang Jie may even help them count the money. Apart from music, Zhang Jie doesn't care about anything. Li Ming asked, Director, when are we going to wait? Wei Jinke picked up his teacup and took a sip. Didn't I just say that? Wait until she wakes up. So what if you wake up? Li Ming glanced at Zhang Jie, can a dying person write a song for him? Wei Jinke put down her teacup and said, she may have written this song long ago, and there may be a lot of inventory left. We need to get one before she goes viral. If there's no problem, it could be Zhang Jie's debut song. Li Ming pursed his lips and stood up, walking outside. I'll go check on her condition. Maybe when she'll wake up, he said. Wei Jingke's phone rang. He picked up his phone and saw that it was the call from the TV station director. He felt a bit resentful when he thought of the director's disdain both inside and outside of his words during this period. As for the program, he hasn't seen Su Yao yet, so he's at a loss. He didn't answer this phone call. Li Ming arrived outside the ward and saw Mao Bai, who had just returned. Mao accidentally changed into work clothes and held a medical record book in his hand. The little nurses saw him and their eyes lit up. He remained unmoved, without the excitement after the fire. On the contrary, there is a bit more sorrow. Li Ming walked up and took the initiative to establish a relationship, saying, "Hello, I am the director's assistant for the Star Show program on Beijing television. Congratulations on your successful promotion." "Thank you," Mao nodded lightly. Li Ming asked, "Have you ever thought about what song to sing next?" Mao Bai shook his head and said, "I don't know." I'll sing whatever Miss Su asks me to sing." Mao Bai gently pushed his glasses. "As long as she's happy." Li Ming could see that Mao Bai was genuinely respectful of Su Yao from the bottom of his heart. Put Su Yao's feelings first. "Are you interested in signing with a brokerage firm?" I'm sorry, I didn't consider this aspect. I'm currently working, please don't ask me anything unrelated to work, thank you." Mao interrupted him. Li Ming's words were blocked and he pondered for a moment. Miss Su's situation, how long will she wake up? I can't explain it clearly. Mao Bai's melancholic expression intensified a bit. If it's fast, it could take 5 hours, or if it's long, it could take more than 10 hours. Li Ming was surprised and didn't expect it to take so long. But I can understand that Su Yao has a terminal illness. Mao Bai nodded slightly and continued to focus on his own affairs. Li Ming also returned to the lounge, playing with his phone and waiting for the moment when Su Yao woke up. At the same time, there are videos of Mao Bai singing online. Although the video was recorded by passers-by in the studio, the effect is not very clear. But when the melody sounded and Mao didn't want to speak, everyone was attracted by his voice. They never expected to hear such a beautiful song in their lifetime. It's simply the only thing in the world. Mao Bai, I remember you now. Your song is so beautiful. This is the first time I've heard a song, which made me feel the urge to cry. After listening in a loop dozens of times, tears have already dried up. Kneeling down and begging for the official high-definition version on site. I want clearer sound quality. The internet is bustling, and the hospital is very quiet. The little nurses were doing things lightly, while Su Yao lay on the hospital bed. In the entire room, there was only the sound of instruments. Su Yao woke up and heard the system prompt sound. Congratulations to the host for gaining popularity through Mao Bai's singing. Currently, the popularity value is 30,000. The host can exchange for 3 days' life, please keep working hard. When Su Yao heard the first half of the sentence, she was very happy. It was easy to gain popularity. However, when she heard the latter half of the sentence, she became angry. A popularity value of 30,000 can only be exchanged for 3 days of life. Capitalists are more conscientious than your system. She complained in her heart, but the system didn't respond to her. It can be seen that this regulation is dead and cannot be changed. She slowly opened her eyes, and what caught her eye was a familiar face. Mao's worried gaze slowly turned into joy, and the corner of his mouth slightly raised. Miss Su, you have finally woken up. You're back, she said with a smile. You sang very well. Mao Bai's eyes couldn't help but turn red, and he laughed even worse than crying. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be able to sing this song, he said. She chuckled and said, did you advance smoothly? Mao Bai nodded. The next round of the competition is coming soon, isn't it? I guess so, I didn't pay any attention, Mao Bai shook his head. You go get some paper and pen, and I'll write you another song. I'll take advantage of these few days to practice more and perform better next time than today, Su Yao encouraged. Mao didn't take any action and corrected, it's not today, it's already yesterday. Is time passing so fast? When is it now? Su Yao chuckled and fell asleep, losing his sense of time. The only good thing is that I only feel physically weak and haven't felt any other discomfort yet. It's already 4 o'clock the next morning, and you slept for more than 10 hours, Mao Bai said. You've been staying here all this time. You haven't gone back to rest. Su Yao saw his dark circles under his eyes. I want to say thank you to you in person when you wake up, Mao Bai said. Su Yao gently waved her hand and said, I want to thank you. Mao Bai asked, are you hungry? I'll ask the kitchen to prepare something for you to eat. What do you want to eat? No need, I'm not hungry, she shook her head. You go get me some paper and pen, and I have another idea for a song. I want to write it down and give it to you right away. Miss Su. Mao Bai had already diverted her attention and hoped that she would rest well. Who knew, she brought up this matter again. He said with both pain and concern, your body is too weak, so don't think about the future, okay? Su Yao said, are your worries unnecessary, or do you think I have no right to think about the future? Mao Bai was startled by her words and quickly waved his hand, no, I didn't mean that. Then bring me what I want. I'm very happy that you sing so well. What if you can defeat the disease? Su Yao said optimistically and positively, we must believe in miracles. Mao didn't want to hear her words and immediately became energized. She quickly prepared paper and pen for her, and then shook the bed up. Although such hope is very, very slim, he sincerely begged for a miracle to happen at this moment. End of this chapter. Chapter 6, Zhang Jie, let me help you write a song. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6, Zhang Jie, let me help you write a song. While Su Yao was writing songs, Mao Bai was not idle either. Su Yao slept for so long, although there was nutrient solution to maintain her physical fitness, it was still very different from food. He immediately ordered the kitchen to prepare a bowl of millet porridge and send a side dish. This commotion also alarmed other nurses, and the on-duty nurses came in to tidy up for her. Seeing her wake up with nothing to do, not even taking a bite of her meal, and writing a song. Their hearts ached to the extreme. At the same time, I am also curious, what type of song did Su Yao write to Mao Bai this time? Will it still sound as good as the previous one? Wei Jinka, who had been guarding the lounge all along, was awakened by the noise outside. Not only him, but also Li Ming and Zhang Jie opened their eyes. Li Ming rubbed his sore shoulder and said, shouldn't it be Su Yao who woke up? Wei Jinka suddenly sat up and said, let's go and take a look. Li Ming has never seen Wei Jinka guarding others like this, he is still a patient. At the same time, she is also a young girl who has just turned 20. This is something they have never experienced before. Li Ming approached Zhang Jie and patted his shoulder, saying, let's go and take a look together. Zhang Jie rubbed his forehead and finally asked the question in his heart, what are you doing here? Li Ming shrugged and said, find a lyricist and composer for you, and prepare for your debut. Zhang Jie's handsome face furrowed slightly. What songs did she write? Li Ming saw that he was rarely interested, so he released the song that Mao Bai was singing. Zhang Jie's eyes lit up and he admired the melancholic melody. Do you really feel it? Li Ming asked. It sounds great, Zhang Jie said sincerely. Ask him to write you a debut song, and you will be able to soar to the sky in the future. Zhang Jie asked solemnly, what I need is to sing and dance songs. Can she do it? Li Ming comforted, isn't music all interconnected? As long as we make demands, she can definitely do it if she has the ability. Zhang Jie couldn't help but listen to Mao Bai's song again. The more you listen to this song, the more catchy it becomes, and the more you feel it. It can be seen that the lyrics and composition are very exquisite, coupled with Mao Bai's melancholic appearance, they are simply integrated. Zhang Jie had a small expectation in his heart, but he also doubted whether she really had talent. Many lyricists and composers, after putting in a lot of effort to create a song, no longer have any inspiration and eventually disappear from the crowd. How much inspiration can a dying person have? Zhang Jie followed Li Ming to the door of the ward. Wei Jinke surprisingly did not enter, but instead gazed in surprise at the hospital room. They walked over and soon heard a song coming from inside the house. When you step into this playground, carrying all the dreams and thoughts on your back, all kinds of makeup on the face, no one remembers your appearance, 3 rounds of drinking, you're in the corner. The gentle melody and melancholic tone are similar in style to his previous song. Listening to the previous content, I can't hear the characteristics yet. The most gripping part of music is the climax. If this aspect cannot be achieved, this song will be relatively unsuccessful. In the ward, Su Yao sat on the bed with a smile on her face, and the meal was carefully prepared in front of her. She was eating while listening to Mao stumbling and singing, with a smile on her face. The other nurses also listened attentively, looking forward to the arrival of the climax. Stubbornly singing bitter songs, listen to it being drowned in the noise, you pick up your glass and say to yourself, 1 cup to the morning sun and 1 cup to the moonlight, awakening my longing, gentle to the cold window, so we can fly against the wind without looking back, not afraid of rain in the heart and frost in the eyes. Upon hearing this, a pair of eyes suddenly lit up. Wei Jinke never expected that Su Yao would write another song in such a short time. And this song is not inferior to the previous one at all. Very consistent with Mao Bai's style. If this song goes to the next round of competition, it will definitely win. What shocked him the most was Su Yao. 1,000-mile horse is easy to find, but bull is not easy to find. He always felt that he could find Zhang Jie and that he was the bull. Unfortunately, my own talent is not enough, and I have created so many lyrics and songs that I cannot meet their expectations. People who are looking outside cannot create what they need. More importantly, Su Yao only wrote her last song yesterday. In just over 10 hours, she slept and woke up to create another song. This creative ability is also too strong. The waiting tonight is worth it. Li Ming looked at Su Yao on the hospital bed. She is still so young. Zhang Jie also saw her and was curious about how she could write a song so quickly. For example, I have been hiding at home every day lately, writing songs. However, a lot of paper was wasted and there was no song that could be heard. The girl in front of me, who is still so young, surprisingly has such amazing creativity. If she could really create a song for herself, then you can immediately stand on stage and showcase yourself under the stars. Zhang Jie quickly dispelled the idea of asking her for a song. At first glance, Su Yao's body became very weak and her face turned pale. Secondly, I also feel that Su Yao's creative style does not match my own. Asking her for a song is simply making it difficult for a patient. Mao Bai quickly finished singing this song and happily asked, Su Yao, what is the name of this song? Su Yao said, the name is Xiaoqiu. Mao nodded in agreement and said, good name. Due to your lack of proficiency just now, several places went off key, Su Yao reminded. Mao Bai solemnly said, I will definitely practice well when I go back, and I promise not to make mistakes when I go on stage. Su Yao nodded lazily. Mao Bai looked at her appearance and said with concern, if you're tired, take a break. You need to stay energized to watch my game. That's right. She still wasted a lot of energy this moment, and she was tired again. Wait. Wei Jinke suddenly walked in and greeted with a coquettish expression, Miss Su, it's nice to see you. Are you all? Su Yao looked carefully and soon saw the person standing behind her. Her eyes lit up, Zhang Jie. Is that you? Zhang Jie didn't expect her to be so enthusiastic. He nodded awkwardly and said, I'm Zhang Jie. How do you know me? Wei Jinke also looked surprised and said, yes, Miss Su, Zhang Jie is not a big star yet. How do you know him? Su Yao suddenly realized that she had said the wrong thing because she was too excited. Zhang Jie has not yet debuted, perhaps he is struggling with his debut song. She laughed and said, I also heard my relatives talk about it. I see. Wei Jinke thought of her as a wealthy lady from a large corporation, possibly well informed. Su Yao escaped a disaster and felt good when she saw Zhang Jie appear. She looked at Zhang Jie and said excitedly, Zhang Jie, let me help you write a song. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Advantage is high-pitched, write you a love song. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7. Advantage is high-pitched, write you a love song. Zhang Jie looked at Su Yao lying on the hospital bed. Due to the impact of the illness, the face is thin and the skin tone is pale. However, a pair of eyes didn't seem like a sick person at all, with a shimmering light shining inside. He felt a bit embarrassed watching. The happiest person to say is none other than Wei Jinke. Miss Su, are you true? Wei Jinke's exhaustion disappeared instantly, and her eyes lit up as well. Of course it's true. Su Yao chuckled self-deprecatingly and said, I don't have time to joke with you anymore. Upon hearing these words, the ward was instantly shrouded in a wave of sadness. Yeah. Su Yao's physical condition is very serious. I don't have much time to joke with them anymore. Mao said anxiously, your body is very weak, let's rest first. I just wrote him a song, and now I'm writing it for Zhang Jie. How much energy does this require? It's okay, I can still hold on. She shook her head gently and said, I'm happy to see you all perform on stage. Mao didn't expect that she had previously said she liked to watch him sing. When he heard this sentence, he had a subtle feeling in his heart. Turns out, she really just loves writing songs. Wei Jinke didn't want to miss such a good opportunity and stepped forward to support the bedside. Miss Su, we are planning to lead Zhang Jie down the path of singing and dancing. Can you help write a song that suits him? It's best to sing it out like Mao Bai, and there will be an immediate response. Zhang Jie frowned slightly. He also writes songs. Is writing a song that easy? After pondering for so long, I haven't written a song that I can handle. The same goes for people in the circle. Creating is not an easy task. The same goes for the big shots in the circle, otherwise there wouldn't be no heartwarming songs yet. Mao Bai. It was just an accident that suddenly came out. This accident was created by Su Yao alone. Just as he had previously worried, a person can create a style. But it's difficult to control another style. The reason why Su Yao can write such beautiful and sad songs. That's because she's currently struggling with illness. In no time, it may be fatal. Being in this environment, I have some insights and thoughts in my heart. Sing and dance songs. She must have rejected singing and dancing from the bottom of her heart for the difficulty of walking now. Su Yao said, actually, singing and dancing are just a part of it, just to increase the infectiousness of the song. Sure enough. After hearing her words, Zhang Jie immediately felt disappointed. He knew that Su Yao wanted him to take another path. Is that right? Wei Jinke's expression stiffened, questioning her words. Duaning stood next to them and, seeing their attitude, angrily said, it's not bad to write songs for you. Are you still picky? Su Yao gently waved her hand and continued, you haven't even written a song yet, and you just want to work together. How could there be such a good thing? Wei Jinke said, I also know the importance of songs, but when writing a song, there must be a direction, right? Isn't singing and dancing our direction? Are you influenced by the Bangzi kingdom? Su Yao retorted. Wei Jinke was taken aback for a moment, but he didn't expect to be hit by her words. Nowadays, the creative ability in China is getting worse and worse. The market is so large that it is naturally invaded by cultures from other countries. Bangzi country is one of the most typical. This is also the reason why he asked Zhang Jie to take this path. How could I never write a useful song? He also went to find composers from the country of Bangzi, and others were very proud of him. Even birds don't bird him. Unexpectedly, she noticed it again. Li Ming looked at her. Isn't she sick? How could you have such a clear understanding of the domestic situation? Su Yao sighed helplessly, you are putting the cart before the horse. What Zhang Jie is most suitable for is not singing and dancing. Upon hearing this, Zhang Jie felt a bit unhappy. He said contemptuously, you said I'm not suitable for singing and dancing, so what am I suitable for? He is mentally prepared. If Su Yao says a conclusion that doesn't satisfy him, he turns around and leaves. It's already absurd to find a terminally ill patient to write a song. Still wasting so much of his time here makes him even more uncomfortable. He can be certain that Su Yao cannot say it. Su Yao looked at Zhang Jie with a rebellious expression and smiled, what suits you the most is the treble. As soon as this sentence was spoken, the expression on Zhang Jie's face suddenly changed. Wei Jinke and Li Ming were the same, looking at each other. They looked at Su Yao in great surprise. This girl is clearly very weak, but she cannot conceal her beautiful features. If she hadn't fallen ill, she would have a bright future. At this moment, there is a confident smile on her thin face. I have immense confidence in what I say to myself. Zhang Jie murmured, you. How would you know? Few people know about his powerful high-pitched voice. It can be said that apart from the three of them on site, no one knows how high his treble is. However, Su Yao in front of him suddenly claimed to have hit the advantage he had concealed. Because I initially decided to take a singing and dancing route, this advantage has been decided not to be used temporarily. The key to singing and dancing a song is its beautiful melody and lively rhythm. So the high-pitched part is generally rarely used. At this moment it was unexpectedly discovered by Su Yao again. Su Yao smiled slightly and said, I just know. Duaning came to her side and glared angrily at everyone present with her hips crossed. Are you really here to beg for a song? What do I think you're here to criticize? Miss Yao Yao's health is not good, you still talk so much nonsense. If you don't write a song, go out now. Wei Jinke also felt that she had gone too far. Su Yao's body is already not good, and she tends to faint at any time. They are talking about what they have and what they don't, which really wastes a lot of time. Want a song? Want a song? Wei Jinke said with great certainty, even love songs can do it. He believes that if Su Yao could unleash Zhang Jie's high-pitched skills, it would be a good direction. Zhang Jie stood on the side. I am a bit curious and want to know what kind of love song she can write. Is it also like Mao Bai, which is eye-catching? Su Yao nodded and said, okay, I'll write you one. Yao Yao, you haven't rested for a long time, so let's rest first, said Duaning with concern. Su Yao smiled and shook her head, don't worry, I'm fine. And seeing them sing songs makes me happy in my heart. But don't you think I'm feeling much better today than yesterday? Duaning looked at her face and remembered yesterday's even whiter face. It's really much better. Su Yao raised her hand and picked up a pen. Because my body was too weak, I tried several times to grip the pen tightly. They were all worried when they saw her appearance. I heard her cheerful tone earlier and felt that she seemed to be in good spirits. But at this moment, I only understood when I saw her difficult movements. She is actually critically ill. End of this chapter. Half of the song in chapter 8, still unsatisfied. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Half of the song in chapter 8, still unsatisfied. Su Yao admits that she is in good spirits. But when I started doing it, I realized that my body was really weak and weak. Looking back on my previous life, I grew up with a great physique and never fell ill. Unexpectedly, after arriving in this world, he started with a terminal illness. Especially the hands, as if they are not my own, it is very difficult to control. Yao Yao, why don't you take a break first and write when you have the energy? Duaning choked up and said, looking at her, she was about to cry. She shook her head gently, without stopping her hand, and continued to write. Wei Jingke originally came with a purpose in mind. In his eyes, anyone who can help themselves can make use of it. What about bowing down to her? He has been rolling and fidgeting in this world since childhood, and has long cultivated a versatile mind. However, at this moment, seeing Su Yao still writing songs like this, a hint of guilt suddenly rose in his heart. Li Ming stared at Su Yao on the hospital bed and gently pushed his glasses. He has seen many people outside. He respects Su Yao the most for someone as determined and disabled. Only people like him can write heartwarming melodies. Zhang Jie stood at the door, the farthest person from Su Yao. From his actions, one can see his initial rejection. From his gaze, Su Yao's pale face occasionally frowned. The hand movements are also difficult to write one or two words, and then pause. We need to wait for a while before we can continue. But this kind of continuation won't last long, and we have to stop and rest. Over and over again, it takes 10 times more time than a normal person. The content that could be written in a few minutes took her almost an hour. During this hour, the hearts around us were tightly gripping each other. They were very tacitly silent and did not move around. Like a frozen portrait, afraid of making other sounds that would affect her creativity. The most heartbreaking thing is Mao Bai, who knows her detailed physical condition, and a kind of nurse. Watching Su Yao lose his energy, they deeply regret it. If they had known how annoying these people were, they shouldn't have let them in. Sorry, I may not be able to hold on anymore. At this moment, Bai slipped from Su Yao's hand and rolled down the table, making a crisp sound. She leaned against the hospital bed and slowly closed her eyes. Su Yao. Yao Yao's sister. Hurry up. Call the doctor. The medical team composed of Du Mingfeng and other doctors quickly appeared in the ward. Duaning arrived in front of Wei Jingke and the others. It's all because of you, I shouldn't have left you here. The ward doesn't welcome you, get out of here now. Wei Jingke felt guilty and apologized, I'm leaving, we'll leave right away. After speaking, he took the song that Su Yao had just written and immediately walked out. He hasn't had a chance to take a look yet, so he can just go out and take a look. In the ward, the sound of rescue sounded. Medical staff are busy with each other. Mao Bai was worried and praying in his heart. Su Yao, I haven't sung the new song you wrote me yet, you haven't heard it yet. You must not have anything to do. You must wake up and listen to me sing to you. In the hospital garden. Wei Jingke stopped in the remote courtyard with Li Ming and Zhang Jie. Li Ming said with a strange tone, Wei Dao, Miss Su hasn't woken up yet. Isn't it good for us to just leave like this? Wei Jingke ignored it and instead picked up the song. There are not only lyrics but also music scores on it. It's just not finished yet. Wei Jingke said, who said I'm leaving? I'm here to see what kind of song she wrote. His eyes slowly widened before he could finish speaking. Seemingly shocked by the song in hand. Li Ming rarely saw Wei Jingke's expression. You. Who are you? Li Ming walked over and reached out to take a closer look at the song. He also understands music, otherwise it would be impossible for him to hold a music program with Wei Jingke. When he saw the song, he was completely stunned. Good. Good song. Li Ming was pleasantly surprised and said, Zhang Jie, our wish to become famous overnight has a chance to come true. Zhang Jie frowned lightly, not quite believing their words. Before, when they went outside to fetch songs and came back, they also looked excited. It is said to be a song that can become popular overnight. At first glance, he felt very disappointed. His demands are not generally high, nor can ordinary songs satisfy him. What he wants is a song that is highly representative, charming, and can move people's hearts. This is also one of the main reasons why he entered the music industry. If it can't be achieved, he would rather quit the music industry. Zhang Jie's mind conjured up the image of Su Yao when she was writing songs. No matter how well she writes. Being able to write songs in such a dangerous situation. He deeply understands this love. So Zhang Jie walked up and took over the song list. On a piece of white paper, at first glance, it was twisted and twisted like an earthworm crawling. If it weren't for them seeing Su Yao's physical condition with their own eyes. He will dispose of this paper as waste paper. Zhang Jie sang word by word along with the score above. Maybe memories fell into the sea, there may be some past events that cannot be recalled, perhaps time will steal and wait, I've been in love for a long time, maybe I'll part ways, we both enjoy the present together, we were once replaced by others, we all have similar regrets, so we drifted together in a sea of people. The lyrics and melody are gentle and gentle, expressing the difficulties faced by emotions. Zhang Jie's deep voice maximized the melody of the lyrics. Just singing a few lines, he felt his blood boil and his heart beat faster. An indelible haze, let me bury it for you, what you look like after crying all night, from now on, it has been planted in my mind, dialogue under the moon, simply like a child, you asked me several times what that was. Emotions are gradually being pulled and guided. At this moment, we have reached the climax. This is love, this is love, this is love, this is love, this is love. Zhang Jie's voice rose higher and higher with the music score. At this moment, his emotions became passionate and his life seemed to be burning. Wei Jinke and Li Ming looked at each other, their eyes full of joy. This song is really perfect for Zhang Jie. It's just tailor-made for him. Yeah. What Su Yao said is to write songs for him. Isn't that written for him? A few extremely simple words. With his skills, he resounded throughout the hospital. Two people can persevere. It's all because of love. When Su Yao was tormented by illness. The reason why I can persist in writing. It's also because of her love for songs. Keep going. Keep singing. Wei Jinke hurriedly urged Zhang Jie, who had suddenly stopped. Zhang Jie gritted his teeth and said regretfully, there's no back. Li Ming said, she tried her best to write this half of the song. Wei Jinke said, no, 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 how can we do that? We must wait here for her to wake up and have her make up the latter half. I'll wait here, you all go back, Zhang Jie suddenly spoke. Isn't it better for us to be together? Wei Jinke said. Zhang Jie gave them a disdainful glance and said, you guys are too noisy. It will affect her rest. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. I am not short of money, I am short of life. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. I am not short of money, I am short of life. Wei Jinke widened his eyes in shock. I never expected that the proud and conceited Zhang Jie would consider others. Did the sun come out from the west today? Are you sure? What if she wakes up and doesn't give you face? Wei Jinke asked anxiously. Didn't she take the initiative to write a song for me? Zhang Jie raised his eyebrows and asked in response. Wei Jinke thought of her situation when she went to see Su Yao. Su Yao originally looked listless. However, upon seeing Zhang Jie, he immediately regained his energy. Wei Jinke yawned and said, okay, okay. If you want to stay here, just stay here. I'll just go back and catch some sleep. Li Ming smiled and patted his shoulder before leaving. Zhang Jie turned around and looked at the floor where Su Yao was located. After searching for a while, I finally found the ward where Su Yao was located. Thinking of her sudden fainting just now, his heart tightened. Zhang Jie walked quickly to the door of the ward. The medical team has left, leaving only Du Mingfeng and nursing staff in the ward. Du Mingfeng said angrily, "Do you think she has more time, so she keeps squeezing?" Duaning explained, "I don't want her to be so tired either, but Yao Yao's sister." Mao lowered his head apologetically and said, "I'm sorry." Du Mingfeng sighed and said, "You are very aware of Miss Su's physical condition. Leukemia, in other words, is blood cancer. If she could find the matching version, there would be some help, but she hasn't found it yet, and her time is running out. If she really likes it, you can let her write it. I think she's also happy to be able to do what she likes." Duaning originally thought he would blame them and scold them for not being sensible. Suddenly hearing such words, Duan Ying's eyes turned red and tears kept falling down. As a nurse, she knows exactly what this sentence means. In this case, it is the last comfort for terminally ill patients. Mao accidentally clenched his fist tightly. He really hopes miracles can happen. Zhang Jie stood at the door, listening to their conversation clearly. He stood there dumbfounded, filled with regret in his heart. Regret the trouble just now. Unfortunately, I met her too late. Duaning quickly discovered his presence and angrily approached him. "It's all because of you that Yao Yao is in danger. How do you want to come back?" "I'll wait for her to wake up." "Wait until she wakes up and writes a song for you, right?" "Yes," Zhang Jie nodded. "She hasn't finished writing this song yet." "You." Duaning was infuriated by his thick face. "I've been waiting for so long for the main theme song, and I can only compete with others after she wakes up and helps me fill it out." Zhang Jie explained that there was a determination in his eyes that he was determined to win. Mao Bai immediately understood Zhang Jie's mentality. He walked out and said, "Miss Su may not wake up for a long time." Zhang Jie said, "I'll wait." Duaning snorted unwillingly, "Then be honest and don't make any noise." "No," Zhang Jie shook his head. Duaning pursed her lips and went back to the house to do some work. Mao Bai nodded slightly and turned to leave. Zhang Jie did not leave, but waited for Du Mingfeng to come out. "Dr. Du," Zhang Jie saw the name on his chest badge. "What's up?" asked Du Mingfeng. "I want to donate blood." Du Mingfeng gently raised his eyebrows and said, "Are you sure?" Zhang Jie nodded firmly. "Okay, come with me." Du Mingfeng walked ahead. Zhang Jie glanced at the ward and left with Du Mingfeng. When Su Yao woke up again, she saw the bright sunshine outside. A little bird is jumping back and forth at the window, shaking its head and brain, which is particularly cute. It seemed like I had noticed her gaze and spread my wings before flying away. "Miss Su, you're awake." A little nurse approached her and asked with a smile, "Are you hungry? Do you want to eat something? When is it now? How long have I slept?" Su Yao had no idea about her gaze anymore. Fortunately, she is still young and has a wealthy family. Wake up with a rare illness that others will have in their lifetime. There is also wealth that others cannot strive for in their lifetime. Thinking about it this way, it's quite fair. The little nurse said, "You have been sleeping for a day and a night." "I slept for almost 30 hours this time, it's the first time I've slept so long." She noticed the concern in the little nurse's eyes. "I think she's running out of time." "You push the wheelchair over, I want to go out for a walk," she said with a smile. "But you haven't eaten yet." "Then bring the rice over." "I'm really hungry after sleeping for so long." "Only when you are full can you feel refreshed." The little nurses immediately went to arrange it. In no time, a rich and nutritious meal was placed in front of her. Her appetite is not very good, she was already full after eating a little casually. Other nurses also came and placed her in a wheelchair. She remembered that she didn't have much time left and asked, "Is Mao not interested?" Is he going to participate in the next round of the competition? The competition is this afternoon, and he has already gone, the little nurse replied. Well, remember to remind me later, she said with a smile. Okay, the little nurse hesitated for a moment. Su Yao was thinking about how to persuade Zhang Jie. Relying solely on Mao Bai's influence is still too limited. If we find more singers to help them write songs, the popularity value will not be able to rise by chance. One's own life will also rise by chance. It won't be long before you worry about your life being in danger. Su Yao held her head high and gently lifted her hand to feel the scorching sun. Today is the best day for me to feel in this world. Miss Su. Suddenly, a voice rang out. Su Yao heard this magnetic voice and looked over excitedly. Sure enough, it's Zhang Jie. Zhang Jie walked towards her and handed her the sheet of music. Miss Su, I hope you can help me finish writing it. I want to make it the main theme song. Su Yao looked at the writing on it, which looked like an earthworm, and smiled awkwardly. Okay, I'll help you write it. However, I have one request. Zhang Jie said, all the profits from this song belong to you. Su Yao shook her head and said, you know, I'm not short of money. Zhang Jie was slightly taken aback, then remembered her identity. She was the daughter of the Su group. Born with worry-free clothing and food. Zhang Jie asked, so what do you need? Su Yao smiled and said, don't worry, I won't make things difficult for you. He could tell that she wasn't that kind of person. Su Yao said, I want you to immediately publish this song, in any form, can you do it? Zhang Jie grinned and said, of course, when I saw this song, I wanted more people to know immediately. Is that right? I can participate in the PK competition on the Central Mama Art channel, which happens to start tomorrow. That's good, Su Yao said happily. I'll fill it in for you now, you wait. Zhang Jie nodded, take your time to write. I have plenty of time, I'm waiting for you. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Popularity value exceeds 100,000, lucky draw opportunity. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Popularity value exceeds 100,000, lucky draw opportunity. Su Yao doesn't have much time. She wished she could pack up 1,000 songs from the playlist and let them sing them themselves. But she was also very clear in her heart that some things are precious when rare, and the same goes for songs. Throw it all at once, and others won't cherish it. Moreover, she is not trying to improve the landscape of the world, but rather gaining popularity. Only by gaining popularity can she redeem days. My spirits improved a bit today, and I quickly wrote the second half of the song. She collected her pen and handed the score to Zhang Jie, saying, that's all the content. Zhang Jie was overjoyed when he saw the content above and said, I will definitely sing well and win the PK. Su Yao clenched her fist and gave encouragement, come on. Watching Zhang Jie leave, she lifted her head and continued to bask in the sunshine. After sunbathing outside for a while, the little nurse pushed her into the ward. The little nurse said, Miss Su, please rest for a while. She nodded, remember to call me when the game starts later. The little nurse smiled and said, yes, we dare not look until you wake up. She closed her eyes and fell into a deep sleep. The competition of Starlight Show has started again. Today's game is very different from before. Firstly, all the tickets for the session have been sold out, and it's no longer a matter of pulling people's heads to make up the total. Secondly, the ratings of television stations are constantly increasing, reaching unprecedented levels. The station director even personally approached Wei Jinka, asking him to cultivate Mao Bai well and strive to keep this program going. Wei Jinka naturally enjoyed the current scene and was also very happy. Relying solely on Mao Bai's words cannot sustain this program. He originally intended to have Zhang Jie replace him, but was refused by Zhang Jie. They said they were going to participate in another more famous PK match and strive to become famous at once. Wei Jinke has no objection to Zhang Jie's decision. In Yang Ma's programs, there are all singers with names and surnames, unlike his programs, which are all newcomers. Being able to compete on such a program, winning will bring great fame. For his agent, it's naturally a good thing. Li Ming approached Wei Jinke and placed a data sheet on the table, saying, "This is the ratings of our TV station." Wei Jinke looked carefully and asked in surprise, 2 o'clock ratings. So high. Yeah, everyone is waiting for Mao Bai to come on stage and guard in front of the TV in advance, Li Ming said with a smile. Wei Jinke felt unbelievable, completely unaware that their ratings would increase 20 times. You should know that afternoon is not the time for people to watch TV. People with work are at work, while those with free time will take a nap. Few people go to watch boring variety shows. I didn't expect them to break this pattern today. Has the competition started? Wei Jinke asked. Li Ming nodded with a smile and said, "It's just the beginning. Today's competition has officially begun. There are many people watching online live broadcasts. Mao Bai. I want to listen to Mao Bai. When will he come out? Will he bring a new song this time, or will he sing the old song from the last time? I love even old songs, and I never tire of listening to them. Yes, I've heard that song many times. When will the first generation meal be released? I hope today is a new song, please." Not long after, Mao Bai finally appeared in front of a large audience. He was still dressed in simple casual clothes, wearing a pair of sunglasses, and his face was painted with light makeup. The light shone on him, revealing his melancholic temperament without a doubt. Ah. There's that smell. Is this the key, singing a new song or an old one? Amidst everyone's anticipation, Mao unintentionally spoke slowly. Today, I have brought you a new song called Relieving Sorrow. After hearing the name, the audience immediately cheered and became excited. New song. In just 3 days, he brought a new song. Whether in front of the TV or the internet, people are all raising their ears. Mao Bai slowly opened his mouth. A song, gentle and melancholic, with a hint of melancholy. Under his deep voice, he also brought people's emotions into it. 1 cup to the morning sun and 1 cup to the moonlight. Just such an impressive lyric lays the foundation for the charm of this song. Who wrote this song? Why is it so beautiful? It's so charming. What should I do if I cry again? Su Yao. The name of the person who wrote this song is Su Yao, and it seems that he has a very serious illness. Really? That's really a pity. Many people remember Su Yao's name and think she is simply a genius. Not only does the song sound good, but even the words have profound meanings, leaving a lasting impression. Lu Huan, Wang Feng, and Yu Qingqing on the judging panel were stunned. They had heard Mao Bai's song before and were already familiar with Su Yao's name. But I also think that writing, "People Like Me," should be the limit when she can fight against illness. Who knew, just a few days later, a new song was released. Still sounding the same. Wang Feng is a bit eager to try. This Su Yao may not be what he imagined, maybe he is really a creative genius. If she could write a song for herself, maybe it could also become popular nationwide. Lu Huan also had the same idea in his heart, preparing to inquire about Su Yao's news after work. Yu Qingqing was very excited in his heart, and he thought of his disciple Wu Macho. Just as everyone was once again crazy about this song, a wave of sadness enveloped the hospital ward. I called Miss Su for a long time but she didn't wake up. She might miss EGE's competition today, the little nurse said regretfully. The song written by Sister Yao Yao is sure to enter the competition, and there's nothing to watch. Duaning confidently said, "By the way, did you record the video I asked you to record?" The little nurse chuckled and said, "It must have been recorded." You can watch it when Miss Su wakes up. Duaning nodded incessantly and said, "That's right, we can't let her miss such a wonderful moment." This time, Suyao woke up after sleeping until night. After waking up, she heard the system's prompt sound. Congratulations to the host for obtaining 160,000 popularity points, which can be redeemed for 16 days. If the host successfully breaks through 100000, they will receive one chance to draw a prize. Do you want to draw? Su Yao's eyes lit up. Unexpectedly, Mao gained so much popularity this time. Can it be exchanged for a total of 16 days of life? Oh my, finally you don't have to worry about it coming off in a few days. And, after breaking 10,000, there is still a chance for a lottery. Good guy. But she didn't do much in the lottery before, she was simply not the true leader. A few 648 people can't even hear the splashing sound. I don't know how lucky this body is either. She silently recited 2 words in her heart and said, "Extract." End of this chapter.